What's going on, everyone? Happy 2024. It's been a minute since I talked to the camera. I got some shoes. I know that some people are into the shoe videos, and it's been a minute since I talked to the camera. Got the LeBron 20s in front of me. I don't know how long. I think I've had these for 6 or 7 months now, and I probably put in about 15 hours of wear in them. And I think I have a pretty strong understanding and opinion on them. I know a lot of people like these. They were highly regarded, etc., etc. I'm gonna give my thoughts. I got a handful of good things about them, a handful of bad things about them, and eventually I'll tell you how I feel about them. We could go over the bad things and we could go into the good things after. But here are my thoughts on the LeBron 20s. I do know that it's been a while since the shoe has come out. The LeBron 21 has been out for a while now. You could probably find those on sale right now as well. You'd probably get them for a pretty nice discount. For now, we're gonna talk about these, my thoughts on them, because I do know some people are probably gonna find these on sale as well. You can probably find these a handful outlets. You can find them probably other retailers or used, and hopefully this video can assist you on whether or not you want them or not. I'll give you a little bit of background info if you haven't been to my channel. I'm a volleyball player. I'm 5'9". I play outside hitter, but I can play every other position. I also used to dunk a lot, and I really do enjoy playing in good models. I tend to gravitate towards heavier models just for personal preference, but I like to dabble in everything else. In the last couple of years, I tend to go towards the lightweight, low profile shoes, but every now and then I'll try different types of footwear. LeBron 20 was one that kind of intrigued me. Everyone was kind of hyped up about them, and I think that you kind of have to have a pair to try out on your own so you can kind of understand if you do like them or not. And I'm a big believer in trying stuff out before you kind of know. It's good to like do research, but obviously, you know, someone can say really good things about something and it won't kind of align with you. So it's kind of good to get perspective and understanding from multiple points of views. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Let's just get into my thoughts, and we'll start with the bad or the cons. First con that I have with these is the fit. In the recent years, I've fluctuated between the sizes of 9.5 and 10. Some shoe models I will wear 9.5, they'll be comfortable. Some I have to wear 10. I got these, I believe, in a 9.5. Yeah, these are men's 9.5, US men's 9.5. I believe I should have got a 10. The reason being is I just feel like there's not enough room in the toe box for me. The materials are pretty soft. Probably have to go to the product description or my description to kind of get a little bit more product details. But for the most part, the fit's kind of weird for me. Not really a half booty construction. The tongue is connected to the upper, so you get a little bit of movement, but then if you have like a weird looking foot or a foot like mine, the tongue will kind of go like this. It kind of be uncomfortable, so I just have to readjust it. Just my foot shape doesn't kind of align with this style of shoe, and I feel like my feet kind of bleed over the edge of this shoe. It's pretty linear with how the foot shape is, so if you have extra foot, it's gonna kind of bleed out to the side and it's not really comfortable. They do also feel a bit narrow in my opinion, so I think, you know, once you start playing or start moving around, your feet start to fill up with blood fluids, and it starts to feel a little bit uncomfortable. And there's only really one time where I actually kind of enjoyed wearing this shoe where the fit kind of fit nice, which was in a tournament of all things, and they were pretty comfortable. Aside from that, I can never really get a comfortable fit in these. I've tried different insoles, tried to lace them, you know, looser in some areas or trying to keep relacing it. I can never really find a comfortable fit for these. The fit itself kind of draws me away from wearing them more often. Not to say that the pros are bad. It's just if you can't find a shoe that fits your foot or feels comfortable for you, you definitely don't want to wear it as often. At first, these are really expensive shoes. They like trend towards $200. You want your shoe to be very comfortable and be worth the money that you spent, so you can wear them. The first pro that I had is the fit. Just didn't really fit me the right way. Second con that I have is underfoot feeling, I guess would be the cushion. You have Cushlon midsole. I think there's a 4-foot Zoom Air unit and a heel Zoom unit. They're pretty large volume, which is on paper is really comfortable, really bouncy, really, you know, cushioned. But I get a lot of weird compression in the heel that I'm not a really big fan of. Sometimes too much cushion is good, and sometimes really bad. The Cushlon was a little too soft for me, for my liking. I do a lot of heel strikes when it comes to jumping, and sometimes if I get a little bit too much heel strike and it's too soft or too much compression, it just doesn't feel good, and it feels like I'm getting sucked into the floor and I can't really move forward. So I kind of second guess myself, and unless your footwork is really perfect or you're really lightweight, or maybe I just have to break them in more. I felt like I would second guess myself, and some days, except for that one tournament day, these just wouldn't feel good underfoot. It felt like sometimes the cushion is pushing back into my foot, which would be uncomfortable, and I have to take the shoes off. So the cushion, I would say, is a con for me in the heel. I forgot if it's bottom loaded. I believe it's bottom loaded in the heel and top loaded in the forefoot, but it just doesn't really work for me, and I feel like I could do with more of a Phylon midsole than the Cushlon midsole, because Phylon's a little bit more firm. But Cushlon is comfortable full length. It just doesn't really feel nice for me, and kind of throws me off when it comes to that. Yeah, cushion is like solid for the most part, but if you are playing and you kind of feel hesitant when moving, or if you feel that you can't really move comfortably and the shoes are the reason for it, then it'll draw you away from wearing them more. Con number 2 is underfoot cushion feel, I guess, is not good for me. Third con, I would say, is they're expensive. So this is also a pro. Like, if you could get an expensive shoe on discount, they're worth getting, right? But if you're paying full-on retail for these, I definitely would not recommend them. There is like the LeBron Next, which is basically like a carbon copy cheaper version of this, which is I think $30 or $40 cheaper, which means you might be able to potentially get them cheaper because sales, discounts, etc., etc. Yeah, I would say the price is definitely not worth it in my book, especially almost a year out and the newest shoe is out. If you're paying full retail for them, that's not a good deal in my opinion. So those are my cons. We're gonna go into some pros, and hopefully that kind of gives you an idea of, you know, what we think about these shoes. So pro, it's a LeBron 20, which is crazy. They packed this shoe up with a bunch of tech. It's a low top sig, which is always cool. You know, there's a lot of cushion. It's a pretty decent looking shoe. Like, I think a lot of people like this LeBron because of how versatile it is in terms of looks. Like, a lot of people like the way these look. Low top, on foot, etc., etc. So my first pro is that the traction is ridiculous. Like, I never really complained about traction. For most shoes, all you really have to do is wipe. You have pretty good traction for the most part. These are super sticky. On most court surfaces, I would say like 9 times out of 10, too much traction. They're super squeaky, no complaints. If there's a little bit of dust, just wipe it on all types of court surfaces and you're pretty much good to go. And I believe the same thing goes for the LeBron Next Gen. So pro number 1 is the traction. And when it comes to either playing basketball or volleyball, you're making a lot of quick movements, laterally, forward, back. You have to do a lot of change of direction. And if you have good traction, you're more of an advantage. And when it comes to jumping, you want to have lots of traction so you can plant hard. And when you make that last block step, it's popping you upwards. So having good traction is definitely needed when it comes to playing a sport or jumping. So I do appreciate the traction in this shoe. Second pro is going to be the cushion. So if you're someone who likes cushion, more on the like supportive side versus like the springy side, there's springy types of traction that kind of feels like you're on like a bounce house or like a trampoline. These definitely aren't that springy. These are more cushioned in the sense that like you can play it for a longer period of time. I would say they feel like it's like a pillow or memory foam. That's kind of like how it feels. You do have, like I said, a bottom loaded heel zoom unit, and I believe it's top loaded. So you should get a little bit more springy in the forefoot, but it is a little bit more balanced when it comes to cushion itself. The overall ride is much smoother. You don't really have a clunky heel to toe transition. So it's really nice if you play a lot, if you play a very smooth game. You're pretty grounded, they're pretty nice as well. And they're pretty balanced overall in terms of the cushion. It doesn't really deviate from being too soft or too firm. It's kind of like that good middle ground. And if you're paying $200, which is like kind of like the retail price, you better get some good cushion, or else you're not really getting your money's worth. So a good pro is, I would say, the cushion as well. If you kind of dig that. If you need more cushion, you're more than welcome to add an insole. You could either try like Victory insoles. I've tried Victory insoles in these. I also tried the Move insoles. They're pretty comfortable in these as well. They just add more cushion to the total ride and a little bit more support. So overall, cushion is one of my favorite parts of it. It is kind of a pro, but it's also one of my favorite parts. The third pro would be the materials. This model has like a knit material, so it's super lightweight, kind of reduces the weight, gives a little bit more like a malleable feel, kind of works with your foot a little bit better, but it's a little bit more structured, so that way, like if you're making too many crazy movements, like you can kind of beat them up, but then they'll still retain the structure. And like I said, there was one tournament where I played this in this shoe the whole time and I had no issues. That experience kept me hopeful every time I wear them. Maybe I just have to continue to wear them. As of right now, I don't really wear them too often. And I would say these look fairly new or not as worn as some people's LeBrons are. And every time I see someone wear LeBrons, I'm like, maybe I want to try them again. And then I put them on, and like, I'm not a big fan. I have to like wear them a lot. So for the most part, the overall materials are really nice. And if you want a shoe that doesn't really take too much break-in time, these are a pretty good option to go to. If you go to like the newest model, the 21, they changed the material. I don't know what type of rubber it is, but it's definitely not a knit. And I don't know how long it takes to kind of break in. But for this model itself, it's pretty solid. And if you're into like a lighter weight mesh or lighter weight knit material, these are pretty nice. So my overall thoughts, these kind of are like okay to me. Like, I like them, but I don't like them. There's bad qualities to them, in my opinion. And then there's the good qualities that kind of redeem that. So it kind of keeps me a little bit more in the middle ground of terms of like, I like them, but I don't like them. The average is probably, if I were to rate it, probably like a 6 or a 7 at most, maybe like 6.5. If you could find them on sale, I would say it's worth the sale price, but I definitely would not pay the retail price. I know that, like I said, it's been a while since these released. So you do have some, a little bit of leeway if you can find them. And there's a bunch of cool colorways. If you're willing to, fork over the money, then be ready for these things. Personally, if I were to give advice, I'd probably go up half a size. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not too sure if you could try them on store anymore, or if you like try them in person, if you're gonna get them, but I would go up half a size just for the overall fit, get better lockdown, and kind of give you room for your foot to kind of swell up in them when you play or jump or do whatever you gotta do in them. But overall, I do like them, just not that much. Hopefully this kind of gives you an idea of my thoughts on them. I do have another shoe that I would prefer to wear, which I'll show in the next video, which is part of the lineage of LeBron's. And hopefully I'll probably not really give a comparison, but give my thoughts on them as well, because I've been wearing them pretty frequently. More than this shoe, and that shoe's pretty dated. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. Hopefully we'll see more videos come out soon of me talking to y'all. See you next one. Bye.